What up, my poker peeps, and welcome back to the vlog. That's right. This right here is going to cover the Hatter live stream that we had on February 10th, my birthday. And I want to introduce everybody and go through a bunch of hands. This is going to be part one. There's no way I could fit all these amazing hands in this 5 hour live stream. There was so many crazy hands. So most of these hands come from the first hour, as you'll see. So let's go ahead and jump into the first hand we're going to talk about. You see my dude Yucko right here. He's going to go ahead and raise up the ace 10 to $8 over it's 2 500 deep stack game we're playing. Goes over to suited pairs. He's in the cutoff and he just flats. He could be 3-betting here, but I'm all right with a flat. And then, of course, Lottie Dog, he's going to go ahead. Actually, he was in the cutoff. He's going to go ahead and call with 10-9 of spades. I'm good with that. And we get a juicy flop, y'all. That's right. Look at all the hands here. So Lottie Dog, he flops the nuts. You got Yucko has the ace high flush draw, and he's got two gutters for a straight. And suited pairs has backdoor clubs and the open ender. Yucko goes ahead and bets 15. Suited pairs goes ahead and calls the 15. And Lottie Dog, he goes ahead and just raises the 30. In this thing, he definitely should be pumping it up, going a little better, a little bigger, and charging all the draws. So, of course, both players are going to call here, and we're going to go to a turn, which is an amazing card, making things even more spicy. It is the 9 of clubs. All right, now this is where I want to talk about it. It checks around to Lottie Dog. You can see he's not real happy with the 9. He knows it's not best, but he still has the straight. But now suited pairs has got the joint with the backdoor club draw, and Yucko has a straight with the 10. And now Lottie Dog, he goes ahead and bets 20. Yucko's going to put in a raise, and now it'll go over to suited pairs. This is where I think suited pairs might have made a mistake. When the camera pans back, watch Lottie Dog. And I'm wondering if suited pairs saw this, and maybe this is why he makes his decision. But when the camera pans back over to suited pairs for him to do his action, as you notice, Lottie Dog right there has already grabbed the chips to call. So that pretty much should let you know that he's interested in the hand and he's probably going to call. But you've got the nuts here with the redraw to the clubs, and you got to charge. At this point, it's very easy that one of them, Yucko's screaming he has a straight here, but one of them also could have two pairs, a set. You want to charge all these hands. Suited pairs goes deep into the tank and eventually just calls the 65. I really don't like just a call here. I think you need to go ahead and pump it in. And with the stack sizes and the thing, he could rip here, but I think going to like 200 and then going on any river that ain't a diamond, and you might go with it no matter what. But at this point, Lottie Dog comes along. Now he makes his flush. So his hand just improves, and now he has pretty much got the effective nuts. No one, someone could have the ace high club draw, but it's very unlikely as played. As you can see, Lottie Dog is staring him down. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And now suited pairs is going to go ahead and bet out kind of big. Well, not really big. He bets half pot. I think it's like 150. Hold on, we'll find out here in just a second when the graphics catch up. Lottie Dog goes deep into the tank. Yeah, it was 150. And I'm pretty impressed. I've played with Lottie Dog. I've known him for years. And for him to get away from this hand is very impressive to me. Usually he's the kind of player that would get sticky here. He'd get married to his hand, especially with the first time on a live stream. I was very impressed he found a fold here. The only thing I could say about his is maybe the flop should be a bigger raise, but them hands are going to stay that are there. So now Yucko, he's going to go deep into the tank, and eventually he's going to go ahead and put in the call. The things that I want to talk about in this hand is suited pairs should definitely be getting all of Yucko's money. I understand, knowing what it is, but I think if he goes ahead and bumps it up to 200, Lottie Dog might come around and you get him locked in. Definitely getting all of Yucko's money if you go ahead and make the raise. I think if he raises Yucko, Yucko goes ahead and goes with it, and he's going to get a full double. So maybe a little bit of a tiny bit of error. I think he saw Lottie Dog grab the chips and he was trying to keep them in. Sometimes you just, when you make a hand, this whole trapping thing don't always work out. So let's go ahead and move on to the next hand of note. And in this hand's going to come down between Diggstown and Swaggy Mac. So as the action catches up here on the action tracker, we're going to see suited pairs looks down at ace king offsuit under the gun. He's going to go ahead and put in a raise, which is you got to put in a raise here under the gun. He goes up to 20, I believe. You see Lottie Dog, he's going to go ahead and quickly fold. and it's going to fold around to Digstown in the small blind. He looks down at pocket sevens. We're playing super deep. He's pretty much 500 effective going into the hand, so he's on a call and set mine. Swaggy Mac looks down at the jiggities. I really wish he would have put in a 3-bet here, but as played, he calls, and we're going off to a flop. And the flop comes 7 of diamonds, 6 of spades, 2 of diamonds, and the luck box he is. Digstown does what he does. He luck box top set here. So, of course, he's going to go ahead and check and flow, which I like. Now Swaggy Mac feels like, well, I got to see where I'm at. You could have done this pre-flop, bro. You know this. Just a simple mistake here. He's going to go ahead and bet out. And he bets 30. Now, of course, knowing Diggs' hand, it's a pretty easy fold for suited pairs. But I believe with suited pairs here, with what's in the pot and 30 to float with 2 overs with the king of diamonds, if he was to float here, it's really not the worst play. But he goes ahead and gets out the way. And now it's going to go back to Digstown. Now, Digstown's going to think about it for just a second, and then he's going to put in a little bit over a min raise. I believe he goes to 75 right here, which is fine. When Swaggy Mac leads out like this, it definitely looks like he's trying to, he's betting into the pre-flop raiser pretty strong. So he's going to go ahead and call, and now we go off to a turn, which is the 9 of clubs. All right, so let's start thinking about what Digstown would have here. The way it's played, his hand definitely looks like 2 pair plus. He's going to quickly go to this time he's going to lead out, which I like. You got to continue the aggression. So, and you want to build a pot just in case Swaggy Mac has 2 high diamonds. You want to charge all these type of hands. He bets out to 175. And at this point, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I believe this right here is, and I'll talk about this a lot of the table dynamics here is because a lot of us have known each other, and the last thing we want to do is be bluffed by each other. So Swaggy Mac, after the hand, like as soon as the hand was over, he pretty much knew exactly what Diggs had, but he gets a little stubborn here. And me and him, I made a video earlier about this. You can't just flat here. You either got to go with your hand and put it all in, or you just fold. And I think because he knew he was way behind, he should have just folded this one. He gets a little stubborn, a little too sticky, and he's gonna put in the 175, and we're gonna go off to a river here in just a second with a big old pot. Pretty much both of them have just a half-size pot bet. Behind, the Queen of Hearts comes. Now Digstown slows down. I'm not sure why he slowed down. I think he should have just go ahead and rip it in a little quicker and make it look like he's just trying to push. The problem here is he could have had high diamonds and was playing the flush draw with 2 overs aggressively, which could be a thing that he could be doing. It's a good way to balance your sets and stuff like that if you want to play your draws like that. But when he thinks about it, now it doesn't really seem that way. Now, one thing he could have here that would make him think is say he had like king, queen, or queen, jack of diamonds. He might think about it then to wonder if he has actually showdown value at that point or if he wants to go ahead and rip it. So he goes ahead and rips it. Swaggy Mac is hating life right now because he knows he made a terrible decision on a turn. And now you see him shaking his head. Man, these 2 dudes right here are my brothers, man. We've been family for 20 years. So I know he's in the blender. He's hating life. He knows he made a mistake on a turn and now can I get away from it? So he goes and thinks about it. And yeah, he's getting great odds to call, but he knew in his heart that there was no way he was good here. There is no hand he could think of that he could have that he can beat. So he goes ahead and folds, and he's going to go off to add-on corner. So now we'll jump into the next hand. And the next hand, we're going to talk about Froggy. So when I made this game, I invited local friends of mine I've known for years and people I've met through social media, and Froggy is one of them. I love Froggy to death. Froggy is pretty much the Hatter Army mama. She cares about all of us like we're her kids. And she is a heck of a poker player, y'all. I met her about 2 years ago through my TikTok, and she's just a great person. She's a great mom. She's got a great son, Mason, and a great husband who were there. Her husband was in the chat rooting her on. So she goes ahead and raises up pocket deuces, one of my favorite hands. Yucco's going to 3-bet with the ace-10 suited, which is fine. And it's going to fold back around to Froggy, who's going to make the call. So let's see how Yucco does against Froggy. Froggy's going to sit there, tap the cards, take a good look at them. Oh my goodness, y'all. Y'all see it. Quad City. Break out the Quad City DJs. Let's go. So she checks it real smooth. This is actually the perfect flop for her to get a lot of value. Yucko is going to go ahead and continue. After a 3-bet, you flop top, you definitely going to continue. He bets for 30. And I like that Froggy just goes ahead and smooth calls right here. So Froggy has definitely got him on the hook. Everything is looking great. You're wanting a low card to come off, and she gets the perfect card, 6 of spades. Now, she goes ahead and checks again, which I like, and it goes back to Yucko. He goes ahead and prepares a bet, and I'm kind of shocked. He ends up checking back here, which was really smart. I'm not sure how he found a check back there. He should definitely probably be continuing there a lot. At this point now, Froggy's got to go for value. So she goes ahead and puts a bet out. Yucko thinks about it for a second, but he's got to call this 50. I mean, you got top, and she's going to think about it. You can see the look in her eyes. She's like, oh, I got him. Please call, please call, please call. I'm actually shocked that she didn't get more value with these quads. And Yucko actually went into the blender here for a minute. I'm not sure. Maybe he picked up something, but eventually he makes the call. And here's the moment where she flops over the ducks. There is a whole lot of ducks quacking on this board, y'all. Oh my goodness. To give you a little bit of a backstory, this is one of my favorite hands. And when we've all played like online and stuff, people know that pocket ducks, the sneaky deuces, I like to call it when you flop sets, is one of my favorite hands and a hand you make a ton of money with. When you flop them bottom sets, oh my goodness. And she just did better with quads there. So that was a cool hand. And it was actually, we thought it was going to be high hand. That's why you see us pointing around. We thought it was going to be high hand. But someone had actually hit quad aces in the building. So unfortunately, her quad deuces was not a high hand. So now we're going to move on to the next hand. And I need to explain this because not many people knew what was going on. So I looked down at 6-9. Going back to Froggy, this is one of her favorite hands to bluff people with, is 69. That's right. So at this moment, as soon as I look down, I already have bad intentions. And I'm going to go ahead and call the 10. And the flop comes king, deuce, deuce. I got backdoor diamonds, but besides that, I really have nothing. I check in flow. It goes to Froggy. Of course, she's got top pair here, weak kicker. She's going to go ahead and bet, but I got to stick to my plan. I'm thinking about bluffing her the whole way with her hand right here. If I can get this bluff through, it's going to be amazing. So the ace of spades comes off, and I'm going to check, and I'm already planning to check raise. I'm going to try to represent a 2 here, which is it's kind of hard to do, but I'm going to go ahead and go big here. She bets 20. I go up to 75. Now, I don't really like this in theory because all of my king X hands, now her weak king, we're chopping with the ace coming off. Now, yeah, I could be representing an ace here, but I mean, I could float with an ace. Luckily, she lets it go, but that was really not the best card. In a way, it looks like the best card, but in another way, it ain't. But as you see, I show the 6-9 and look at her laugh. That's right. She knew what time it was, and me and her have a good laugh, and it's definitely a special moment that I could bluff her with her hand. And she tried to get me back later, as you'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to show that hand because it was a small pot. She tried to get me back later with the same hand, but I had no piece of the board, so she didn't get her revenge. But me and her are going to play a lot more poker, so the revenge will come. All right, so I want to jump into this hand. This is probably the best play I made all night. Yeah, I won some big pots, but this is probably the most proud of any play that I did all night. If I was to say what is my best play of the night, I would go to this specific hand and say this is my best, and I'll explain why. So when I built the stream and I had all these people, I definitely wanted to, and you'll see when we get to the end of the first hour, I'll show the VPIPs and stuff. I wanted to give action. So as you can see, suited pairs looks down at pocket fours. He makes it 15. It goes over to tie, and he's got ace king offsuit, and he makes a small raise here. I got ace jack offsuit. In this configuration, I think he's really strong. He's probably at the top of his range, but I'm on stream. I got a call here. Plus, I'm on the button. I can't fold ace jack, y'all. I'm trying to have a high VPIP. Get in there and splash around. So I go ahead and call. I'm really not liking the spot already, but hey, I'm here to give action, and hopefully maybe I can get lucky here. So suited pairs, he's getting an amazing price to go ahead and set mine with his pocket fours. He calls. We go 3 ways to a flop of ace of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, 7 of clubs. So on the surface, this looks like a great flop for me. I've flopped top pair. Suited pairs is going to go ahead and check. And now my boy Ty goes ahead and bets out. I think he bets 50 here. Yes, that's correct. And I got a call. I'm not folding to one barrel. Not happening. Because when I call, I'm not loving the situation. Like I said, I think he's at the top of his range when he raised. So ace king, ace queen, all these hands could be in there. Pocket kings, all these big hands. So when I call and he does not slow down on the turn and continues to size up and go. So I go into the tank here for a minute. I hate to fold top pair, but I was when he bets 125, I know I'm not good here. I actually put him on ace king exactly. I show the ace. He doesn't show, but I say something right there. I say, "Hey man, I think you got ace king." And he quickly told me, "Dang man, you called my exact hand." And at the time I wasn't know if he was being sure with me, but watching the stream back, now I know he was. All right, so let's go back to the hero of the first hour, Froggy. That's right, Froggy was sun running the first hour, y'all. So she goes ahead, she's got pocket fours here. She's gonna go ahead and limp in. She could be opening here, but she got some people behind her. There wasn't a lot of three betting overall, but she goes ahead and calls. Diggs is gonna go ahead and limp in. Swaggy Mac said, yeah, let's go. And then suited pairs is going to check in there and Lottie Dog. So we are going 5 ways to a flop, or as they like to call it, the best bet heads up. So the flop comes 9, 8, 4, 2 clubs, and Froggy has flopped bottom set. So now she's going to go ahead and bet for value. She only goes 5 here, or 10, sorry. She goes 10. She can maybe even go bigger. I mean, it's hard because the pot's so small. I mean, she does bet pot, but a lot of people at smaller stakes, they ain't really paying attention to pot size most of the time. Diggs is going to go ahead and make the call. He's got top pair and some back doors. And then Lottie Dog actually has a pretty good hand. He has an open ender. So now one of the worst cards for Froggy comes off. It is the ace of clubs. So now suited pairs, I'm not sure why he floated with queen deuce here, but now he's looking a little better. He's got a queen high flush draw. And unfortunately, I think Froggy needs to continue here. I know it sucks when the flush comes in, but it ends up checking around. And now the two of spades comes off. It's going to check to her again in just a second. And of course, now she's feeling a little bit better. She's going to go for value. She bets 20. Diggs is going to think about it, and Diggs eventually makes a call right here. I don't mind his call. Her line really doesn't make a ton of sense, especially when she checks the turn unless she's checking the flush. His 9 could be good here. He could let it go. I mean, it's kind of spicy, but, I don't mind his call here. So he's going to go ahead and put in the call. The one thing I would be worried about is with suited pairs and Lottie Dog behind him, but they both fold, and Froggy's going to show another set she hit, and she is running good, y'all. But it couldn't happen to a better person. Love me some Froggy, and the Hatter Army loves the Froggy. So moving on to the next hand I want to talk about. This is actually a hand that me and Ty play, and I liked what he was doing, and I want to talk about triple barrel bluffing and the importance of when you make a plan, try to stick with it if you don't feel like you're running into top of range. So as you'll see here in just a minute, it's going to fold around. Ty's going to get into, he's going to raise here in just a second. Let me let it catch up. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because this is actually a pretty interesting hand and one that he had the right idea against me because he started to figure out that I was playing a lot of hands. So he looks down at Jack 10 suited, pretty hand. He's going to go ahead and open it up to 8. I make the call. And me and him are eventually going to go heads up to the flop. I will say, I want to shout Ty out. He played overall amazing. The next hand you're about to see, he is highly involved in. So the flop comes, first off, I called with 6-3 suited, which is a great hand on this night for me. So I flop bottom pair and a flush draw. He goes ahead and continue bets. C bets the flop. I go ahead and call. He's going to go ahead and bet again. He goes down right there. I think he should have went up a little higher. But I can see that's when I kind of felt like, hey, something ain't right. Something ain't adding up. So he goes ahead and bets 10. I snap call. And he looks at it. He's thinking about it. He's like, should I put the third barrel in? Should I put the third barrel in? And I'm going to be honest with y'all. If he would have went up to like 35, 40 here, I would have definitely folded. But we check back and I take it down with a pair of sixes. Once you commit to doing that line, you need to stick with it. He would have got me off of it. Don't slow down next time, Ty. You had me. All right, so this right here is going to be the hand of this video by far. This right here, y'all, is an amazing one. Buckle up. This hand is exciting to watch. It's going to, the two main people are actually people that have been in a few hands here that I've talked about. It's going to be Froggy versus Ty. I'm in there for a second, but I got out of there pretty quick. So at this point, you've seen Froggy's running pretty good. Ty, he's still right around the 500 mark, I believe. Especially I think he took a decent hand a little while ago, and he's around starting stack. We'll find out here in just a second when the video catches up. So Ty comes in. I raised a 10 with 9-8 suited, and Froggy 3-bets me, min clicks me to 20 with pocket kings. Woo, she's trying to be a little sneaky here. Ty had limped in with pocket sixes. Suited pairs is on to think about it. He forgot to run his cards over the card reader, so who knows what he had. Ty's going to go ahead and call, and there's no reason for me to get out of line. I like 9-8 suited. We're going to go three ways. It'll play fine three ways, in my opinion. So Ty has pocket sixes. I got 9-8 suited, and Froggy got the pocket kings, King Kong. And look at that flop, y'all. Look at that flop. Now I'm sitting there rubbing my head thinking, wow, I missed the flop. I got some backdoor clubs maybe. What am I going to do? But I'm not trying to get involved in that when Ty bets 40 into the $60 pot, a little over 60. So Froggy, whew, this is about to get spicy, y'all. It is set over set. This right here is what'll drive you crazy when you're playing poker. You think that you are just in the best position ever. Both of them are over 500 effective starting the hand, and it is set over set. This is such a nasty, nasty, nasty hand. So Froggy actually min clicks it again. So think about this. She min clicked pre-flop, and now she's min clicked his lead into the field. So Ty, I like what he did here. He just smooth called. So now the pot is already growing. It's up over 200, and the three of clubs rolls off, y'all. Now both of them have a boat. Look at my boy Ty. He's like, how can I nurse all this money? Because in his mind, I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, oh man, she's probably got like ace king or maybe king queen suited. How can I get the money? How can I get it all? He feels like he has got the fish on the line. So he goes ahead and bets 150. As you can see, now the pot, if she calls the 150, the pot's over 500. So when he bets the 150, she's thinking. And I understand what she don't want a bad card to come off here. So she's probably thinking at this point, let me go ahead and go with it. I mean, it's hard to put him directly on pocket sixes. I mean, he could have something, and it's hard to put him on a 3 here too. So, I mean, maybe she's putting him on ace king, but she knows she pretty much has the nuts here unless he is flop bottom set and turn quads. She did have quads earlier, but so she goes into the tank and she's thinking about it. Maybe a little bit of Hollywood in here. She's not trying to give away the strength of her hand. Eventually, she figures out, you know what? I don't want another club to roll off and kill my action. And she goes ahead and rips it in. And Ty almost beats her into the pot, flips the sixes. She looks at it. She's like, what do you got? Oh, well, I got kings. How about that? Oh, man. What a cooler, y'all. What a cooler. You think about all the hands I just showed in the first hour. So there's a brick, queen of diamonds. They don't change anything, of course. The hand was pretty much over. He was drawing dead to a 6. And I do want to talk about this. I talked a lot about Froggy, and Froggy's an amazing person. And she was definitely a very gracious winner. Like all of us are sitting here talking right now about what a sick cooler this was. But I want to talk about Ty, or as I know him, Tyler. Like he rebuys, he took it in stride. He took it like a professional. Like I can't say enough good things about how he done it. You see him just smiling about it. He's like, wow. I remember me and him talked about this, and he's like, man, there's no way I can get away from that, is there? I said, nah, bro, there ain't no way. She's getting all my money too, bro. That right there is, if this all, like the hands I showed you, if all this happened online, because you figure this is only about 25 hands through this whole hour of video, and you'll see part 2, and there'll probably be a part 3 too from this stream. For a 5-hour stream, there was so many sick coolers and runouts. It's amazing. But that right there is going to be the last hand of this part 1 episode from the live stream. Let's go ahead. As you can see, this was the first hour. At the end of the first hour, I had a 75% VPIP. That's right, your boy's in there splashing around. Diggstown, I told you he's a nit. Look at him, 18%. And then winnings, Froggy was killing it the first hour, up over 600. You see I was up 120. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all on part 2 coming up soon.